Hey folks, Fernando doing our video for the Modern Survivalists, and today taking a look at the Colt Python. This was requested by someone in my Spanish channel, actually, Federico Barbosa, who said I'd like to analyze Rick's revolver from the series Walking Dead. Well, as probably most of you know, Rick's revolver is a Colt Python with a 6-inch barrel, pretty much similar to this one. I think that in a couple of scenes or throughout the series, it may have been a nickel-plated Python, but basically it's the same thing, looks quite similar to this one. Mine, I do have the original grips for this gun, the actual oak, what is it, oak? Well, the original wooden grips from the Python, I have those in perfect condition, and since they are so valuable, for those of you guys that don't know, the grips, the original grips of Colt Pythons are quite rare, because lots of people change those with rubber or plastic ones, and those that have been used are in awful condition. So nice original Colt Python grips are quite expensive, so I'm using these fancy exotic wood ones that pretty much replicate to the T how it would feel with the original ones, and I keep the original ones stored for whatever. But I use it every once in a while. It's a great revolver, guys. It's a very nice piece. It shoots beautifully. For a lot of people, it's maybe one of the best revolvers ever made. I'm a big fan of my Manu Run, as you sure know. But I wouldn't argue. If you're telling me that this for you is the best revolver ever made, it sure is the most beautiful revolver ever made. I won't argue against that. Maybe it has one of the best actions of our double action revolver ever made. The action in the Python is legendary. It is beautiful, and there's that little tarnish of some people saying it's a fragile gun. That's nonsense. It's not a fragile gun by any means. It's just a gun that needs, like any other tool, it needs to be maintained properly. And in the case of the Python, you have some small parts that after a few thousand rounds probably need to be replaced. The frame of the gun is quite large, and it's not going to be stretching anytime soon. It's a heavy revolver, which is something that people have complained about, but at the same time, it helps 357 Magnum a lot nicer. Someone in my Spanish channel was complaining and saying that 357 Magnum was too much for self-defense, which is of course nonsense. It is a police, it is a cartridge specifically designed for police use. Nothing wrong with that. But it is true that it can be a little bit snappy, not with this kind of gun. It is so heavy in its weight, and with this 6-inch barrel, not only does it balance beautifully, it just compensates that recoil very, very well. Double hand, you shoot it nice with full 357 Magnum loads. Even single-handed, it's really not that complicated. So I like it. I love it. I think it's a great gun. Wouldn't have it if I thought otherwise. And of course, it is very accurate as well. Maybe one of the most accurate revolvers you can come across. So all of those things make this a fantastic firearm. There's of course the little thing about price. These are expensive, and that puts a lot of people off, and you end up finding excuses for those things that you cannot have. Let's be honest. If you could find this as a surplus gun, you'd be all over it, and everyone would have a Colt Python in their holster. If you could get these for $300, $400, 500, you would buy these and love them and not say a word about it. And if something goes wrong after a few thousand rounds, you just do the proper service, and that's it. But things are what they are. I like it a lot. I enjoy shooting it every once in a while. It's not like my main gun or anything, but you appreciate the craftsmanship of this type of gun. It is a beautiful piece. And of course, I have my Busse Team Gemini Light Brigade, which TGLB, which sounds kind of queer, I guess, but this is a great knife as well. It is Daryl's knife from the series. For those of you guys that don't know this sort of stuff, these would be like the hero gun and the hero knife, the hero weapon. In Hollywood, that is like the gun of one of the main characters, and it is like a character in the series itself. This is all done by advisors and consultants, so they're making like The Walking Dead, or maybe this was already in the comic by the original creator of the series. But in general, how it works for movies and such is we need a hero gun, like, you know, Luke Walker's lightsaber, right? That's going to be the hero weapon. Or Han Solo's blaster, that's a hero weapon. And that goes into an entire process of, okay, we're going to be looking at different things. We're going with the Mauser, the broom handle. We're going to be putting some futuristic crap on it, and that's going to be a hero gun. It looks awesome on screen and such, and that makes sense, and people will dig it. That's all the process that goes into this sort of thing. So when they wanted a old schooly type of sheriff dash cowboy looking hero, of course the gun for that sort of guy was going to be called Python. It is iconic, it is beautiful, looks fantastic in screen as well. And in terms of Daryl, they wanted something for a badass survivalist with a crossbow and a mean looking knife, but that was also a real survival knife, beast of a piece that would never break and would be something that that sort of person would have. That sort of guy would go with Busse Team Gemini Light Brigade. It's a beast of a piece. Sure, some people complain about Busse. I have made my remarks about some of the negatives that I see in it as well, even though I am a Busse collector by all accounts. I have several of these knives. It's maybe the knife that I have the most of the same brand. I'm not even kidding. It is a nice design overall. It's not perfect by any means. Most of all, the steel is iconic in the community as a very tough, maybe one of the toughest steels there is. Enfi steel. Lots of people think it's just marketing, part it really is one of the toughest steels you can have in a knife. So that's why it's so well regarded by knife collectors. That's why I pay the price for this sort of thing every once in a while, and I like it, and I think it's absolutely worth it, and I know it's worth it because the resale value for these is insane, and that's why you've seen this in The Walking Dead. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. Have an awesome day. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.